there, everybody. Sean Sheehan and Ian O'Neill are here with another breaking news edition of the Severe MMA podcast, I suppose you would call it, as we talk about Leon Edwards and Jorge Gamebred Masvidal falling out of their upcoming fight at UFC, whatever the fuck it is. And we just said we'd come on here and react to it. There's a lot of reaction online, a lot of people talking about what should happen next, what shouldn't happen next. We're gonna put the audio up to this. If you're watching on YouTube as well, the audio of this will be up on Patreon. So sign up to our Patreon, patreon.com/severe MMA podcast. And thanks to our friends as well at All Real Nutrition. Go to eatallreal.com, get 15% off with the promo code Severe MMA, and they're bringing you this video. Ian, how are you? Yeah, up there. Look at that, beautiful. Whoever made that beautiful graphic is a fucking legend.
I did the wrong hand first. I was going like that. I was like, oh shit.
Let's get straight into it. So, what was the general reaction? What was your first reaction to the Masvidal versus Edwards fight being off? Was it sad? Was it happy? What was it?
Oh, it was sad. It was definitely sad. It was a fight that I was looking forward to seeing. Like, and I mean, there a lot of bad blood, lot of history there, and it was just going to be a good fight on top of the welterweight division. And Leon Edwards, it would have been a good platform for him, and it would have been a very winnable fight for him as well. So it's sad for Leon Edwards. Like I said, I just tweeted out, if it wasn't for bad luck, Leon Edwards would have no luck really with everything that's happened to him.
Yeah, look, it's one of those as well where you're dead right. All the luck he has is bad, but it's right. So the welterweight title fight just happened like on Saturday, and the guy who he's kind of been slated to fight for ages after they fought before won. And look, even if he didn't, even if Colby won, it would have been grand. But maybe Usman would have got a rematch if Colby won, whatever. But the problem with it is Usman came out after that fight, and he basically said that I don't want to fight for a while. It doesn't matter how much money I have. I want to spend some time with my daughter. He came out and I think he had a bit of a foot injury after. I know Colby had a foot injury as well, but I think, look, whatever fight you come out of, you won't be unscathed. You're probably going to take 6 or 7 weeks to get better from it before you get back into camp, before you get maybe the weight down again or into a shape to get back into camp to spend another 8 to 10 weeks before you're going to fight. That's a long, long way away, and that's a long time down the line. And maybe he'll want a little bit more time off even. Maybe he won't want to come back again until after Christmas. And that could be the middle of next year before Kamaru Usman wants to fight. And you couldn't take that away from him because he's fought a lot in the next while, right? So Leon Edwards is in a spot now where he probably is the next guy in line for the title shot. But he had the perfect opportunity with a very winnable fight against probably the biggest name in the division, arguably, which would absolutely get him a lot of money, but also get him straight into the title fight. And now that's gone. You want in Leon Edwards' position or anyone's position who are, the contenders, we do our show over on Patreon, who are right there at the cusp of the title shot. If your opponent, if the champion is going to be out for another while, or you think might be out for another while, you want exactly this fight. You want the biggest name, the easiest fight for the most money, and he had it, and now it's gone. And so there is the thought that he has lost that. There is the thought then that he has got the title fight now. He should just sit out and get the title fight. But the problem with that is, we know the fucking problem with that is, Hamzat is coming. If he wins, let's say Hamzat goes in there, fights Bilal, beats him, and a month later fights fucking Wonderboy and beats him. Everyone is going to be calling for Hamzat versus Edwards. Everyone is going to be saying, Edwards already beat Leon Edwards, or Usman already beat Leon Edwards. Usman versus Hamzat, they'll be calling for it if I said that wrong, but it's just, it's such a hard decision for Leon Edwards here. And do you know the biggest and hard decision I throw it over to you now to say? Could he get Hamzat? Could Hamzat Chimaev be the name that they throw at Leon Edwards now?
Well, they tried to do it before, so I don't see why they're not going to try and do it again. I mean, I definitely agree with everything that you said there. Like, such a bad look for Leon Edwards, but I mean, he's been sitting out far too much. I don't really think he's in a situation right now where he can just sit this out again. I think it's important for him to get a fight under his belt. Now, I'm not saying it necessarily has to be Shimaev or anything like that, but I mean, he could Belil Muhammad put his name into the mix. Maybe that was a rematch that he could do. But I think more so than anything else that it's very, very important here for Leon Edwards to get a fight on this card and remain on this card and stay active.
Why? Are you sure? Because I would normally be 100% in agreement with that, and I think I am, but I'm not sure because if that fight is Shamaev, I'm saying no, fucking don't take it because like you're
Mm-hmm.
putting you're like right now. If there was a title shot tomorrow, Leon Edwards would be the guy getting it. We all know that. Dana White said it the weekend. Shamaev needs a couple more fights. But like this is how Shamaev gets a couple more fights, you
Yeah.
know? He
And
beats
an
Leon Edwards,
important
he beats someone else.
important thing, I think Ariel had said it on one of his shows as well, is that it is in writing that if he did win this fight, that it would be a title shot next. So we don't know what implications of the contract would say if one of the fighters pulls out or stuff like that. There could be a lot of things behind the scenes that go on here as well. But I mean, I don't know. I do understand, and I would completely understand if Leon Edwards did choose to sit out here. I really would. Like, I mean, you have him in there. You could have him fight again, Masvidal again when Masvidal is like injury free. It's a big fight. It's a winnable fight, like you said already. You could also sit out and maybe get a title shot too. But I mean, sitting out in the past hasn't done him any favors, and there's no guarantees of that title shot coming either. But I think you fight in December, you get another win under your belt. You fight. I'd be picking someone like I think even Shimaev. Although I've been pushing for Shimaev to get a fight like this. Like I mean, normally I'm going against what all I regularly believe when it comes to like holding on to talent and building them slowly, and I'm gone completely the opposite way in Shimaev because I'm of the opinion is that how many kind of mid to maybe small level, high level guys is he going to beat before we throw him into the top five? I'm saying let's throw him in there now. Let's see how he goes on. And if he loses, he still has time to get back there again. I mean, we were talking about the youngest and the oldest champions in UFC history. John Jones got a chance like that. He was thrown in at the very deep. I know I'm not trying to compare Shimaev with John Jones, but John Jones did genuinely look ready back in the day when he did get his shot against Shogun. There is still a lot of questions of Shimaev. He hasn't been outside of he hasn't really been tested outside the top five really, guys. So I'm really excited. I think he should be going in there against a top five guy, but I mean, I would understand why Leon Edwards wouldn't take that fight.
I the problem is I agree with you about Shamaev as well. But like I look, I think in the UFC you have to line up your challengers and you have to line up the next guy to fight for the belt. Um and if you go in here, right, and you put Shamaev and Edwards together, you're kind of ruining the plan that Dana White kind of implemented there at the weekend. The plan was Edwards versus Masvidal. The winner fights for the title. If it was Edwards, and then the plan after that was get Chimaev by the time the next title fight comes in. It might be this time next year. Then he has had 3 fights and he's ready. And maybe in that time he's fought Bilal, beat him. He's fought fucking Wonderboy and beat him, or fought whoever it might be. And then he's done exactly what you were calling for there, which I agree with, is testing himself against the top 5 guy. And he's put himself right in the in the line for the title. I think the biggest thing with Shamaev and why they shouldn't make Shamaev versus Edwards right now is that they don't need to just build him. Look, I agree with you. I agree with your John Jones sentiment. I think he's ready right now. I'd like to see him fight Usman right now, but he's not fighting Usman right now. It's going to be Edwards he's fighting right now. So what I think you need to do, right, is instead of throwing him right in there against someone really good, I think you need to build the anticipation rather than building Shamaev. I think Shamaev doesn't need much more building, but build that anticipation, right? Sometimes it happens too much. Look at Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. We built it for fucking 10 years and it got ruined and no one, well, people still want to see it, but it's not what it used to be. Or, Mayweather versus Pacquiao, or George St. Pierre versus Anderson Silva, or whoever, whatever it might be. Don't build it too much, but do build it a bit. I really think that's what they need to do. There is a plan that could easily be put in place. Dana White alluded to it at the weekend. Get a 3 fights in a row for Chimaev and get him in place for this time next year. Put him on that card. Don't put him against Edwards. Look, Bilal Muhammad has called him out. They have unfinished business. I think Bilal versus Edwards makes sense. Get someone else for Chimaev, because if they make that fight, it's so. I like, if I was Leon Edwards, I'm not taking that fight. I am not taking that fight. I'm pulling my fucking labrum. I'm pulling my hamstring. I'm fucking slipping on the bat mats. I'm doing something. There's no way in hell I'm taking that fight. And that's it. Like, it's too much of a risk.
You're asking him to do something similar to what maybe Jorge Masvidal has done today, maybe to Leon Edwards. It's
I see a lot of people saying that.
I'm going to put foil here for a second, but when you have Colby Covington coming out, if you have Colby Covington coming out there and saying, why would you fight Leon Edwards? Why don't you just fight me and let's do tough and let's make a bunch of money together? And then 2 days later, you pull out of the fight with an undisclosed injury. I mean, it has to be mentioned as well. Like, I mean, it's just, I just can't get my head around it, to be honest. And it's very unfortunate for Leon Edwards. But for me, I do truly believe what you said, that he should fight on December. He should fight somebody like Belal Muhammad. And I think fighting somebody like Chimaev is nothing he has nothing to gain out of fighting Chimaev. He's either going to get beaten and Chimaev is going to take his place, or he's going to win and they'll say, oh, he's beaten a guy who is only not that good enough yet. So, I mean, it makes sense for him to go in there against Belal Muhammad, 3-round fight, go in there and get a finish and call Usman out on the mic after that fight. And that's it.
Yeah. It's such a, see, there's a, that's correct. I would agree with what you said there, and I alluded to it too. But the problem with that is, right,
that's what we think should happen. Now let's talk about probably what's going to happen.
But not even what's going to happen, what can happen? Like, will the UFC do that, or will Dana White go, look, I didn't mean what I said last Saturday at the press conference. Chimaev, come on over. You've allowed Leon Edwards here to fight. Let's do it. We need you. We need your assistance. And then I don't know. I just don't know. I like, if you were to guess, right? If you were to say what fight will happen, will Leon Edwards, will Belal Muhammad, will Chimaev fight on that date in December? What would your thoughts be? Not what you want, but what you think will happen.
What I think is going to happen is that there's going to be serious pressure put down from the UFC on Leon Edwards to take a fight with Chimaev. That's what I think is going to happen.
I agree. Yeah, and I think that fight will happen. I think they'll make him take it, and they'll say, right, you can either go to the back of the line or get this now. Because, like, if they do put Chimaev in there, let's say Leon Edwards doesn't want it, and he rightly so, and they put him in Chimaev in there, and Belal says, well, I'll take that fight. Or Neil Magny says, I'll take that fight before Christmas. And then they fight him. And then he fights Wonderboy or someone in the middle of next year, or Nate Diaz maybe or somewhere, or at the start of next year. Well, Leon Edwards is at the back of the line now, or maybe not the back of the line, but maybe third or fourth in line. And that's a big problem. A big problem. So the UFC are going to be saying that. They're going to say, like, well, this is your opportunity to get in there, get a fight, and then sit out until May to fight Usman. That's a big decision. A big decision for, look, Leon Edwards.
If you're Leon Edwards there and they come at you with Chimaev, do you fire back with maybe an interim title perhaps or something like that?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? That's one way of guaranteeing yourself a title shot if you get a win. You know what I mean? And then if Chimaev if he that would be history if he was to pick up a title and maybe his fourth UFC fight.
I'd be firing back with, can I get Belal Muhammad and an interim title? Give me that one, please.
Yeah.
Chimaev can fight for the bronze title or something. It'll be grand. But yeah, it's that's actually a great shout. Yeah. I would not take the Chimaev fight anyway, but if there's maybe an interim title would sweeten it up a bit, but it's a very, very tough decision for Leon Edwards, which I agree with you. I think he will be faced with it, and I suppose let's see how it goes down. Right, let us know what you think in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please click the thumbs up here on YouTube. Click subscribe. And if you haven't signed up to our Patreon, patreon.com/the podcast, you'll be able to get this on your RSS feed there, the audio, and loads more with it too. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening. We'll see you all next time. Good luck.